We, in America, have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West's managed decline. Marcus Rubius, first of his name, 48th President of the United States of America. And now, speaking of the West's managed decline, we gotta talk about England. All right, to all the Democrats who think Trump is a dictator, let me introduce you to an actual dictator. This is Queer Stalin. He is the Prime Minister of England for now, but not for very long, because he is stepping down. So, yesterday, there was a massive rally where people basically stood up to fight for England, because England is being ravaged by third world orcs. Ravaging and raping hobbits by the handful. And the government is literally designed and put defenses in place to make sure the orcs can keep raping. This is just so sad. It's so fucking sad. So anyway, look at bro getting eviscerated here. So first, he's like, well, we're not going to close the border to illegal rapists, but we are going to close the border to Americans that want to voice their opinions on how we're getting raped by orcs.
Tomorrow's march in London is a reminder of what we're up against in the battle of our values.
That's right. The values of making sure the little white girls get raped. Now, that is an important value for Queer Stalin, and he is going to make sure that that lasts as long as it can.
The organisers, including convicted thugs and racists, are peddling hatred and division.
Hot take, racists are way better than rapists. Sorry, bro. If I have to choose between the two sides, I'm going to pick the racist every time.
Plain and simple. Their goal is to convince people that Britain's problems are caused by those living alongside them.
True! They are. True. Very true.
But that is not...
Those alongside them specifically being third world rapists, by the way. Let's just understand who this brother is defending.
the Britain that I know.
Not the Britain
This
I
is
know.
a country built on decency, fairness...
That's
and
right. We have to make sure every rapist has the right to rape. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If we don't let the rapists rape, how are we better than them?
respect. A country that is at its best when people from different backgrounds come together in common purpose.
It's at its best when there's an Islamic terror attack once a week. Now, the reason is simple. Who are we to stop Islamic terror attacks when that's their culture? All cultures are equal.
This is our country, with a majority who share
Our country, says Kami Mommy over here.
those values. A majority who may not always be as loud, but must always define who we are.
You just lost your election,
So-
bro.
My government will not stand in the way of peaceful protest, but we will act decisively against hatred.
Wow.
We will
Whatever
use
that
the
means.
full force of the law when that hatred manifests as violence. And we will ban those coming into the UK
There it is.
who seek to stir it up,
There it is.
as we have done already.
We will ban people for being anti-rape, but we will not ban the rapists. So obviously this did not go over very well at all. He got flamed for this. And in fact, little foreshadowing for a little bit later, Keir Starmer has announced he is standing down as Prime Minister. And we will get to that a little bit later, because first I have to show you what had that happen. So this is just a nice visual of British police on the way to make sure the 12-year-old rape victim isn't Islamophobic. Very important for you to understand the priorities of this government. So let's just lay the groundwork here. All right, the UK free speech crackdown sees up to 30 people a day arrested for petty offenses such as retweets and cartoons. That's right. If you retweet something Islamophobic, you might be going to jail in England, and they're arresting 30 people a day. UK is a prison island. Elon Musk gets involved. More people are arrested for speech offenses in the UK than any other country. All right, this is supposed to be someone that shares our values. Get out of here, bro. All right, so then Elon Musk also retweeted this tweet from Gavin McInnes. One of the reasons why the elites ignore the Muslim grooming gangs is they simply can't handle the levels of horror these attacks reach, such as nailing a girl's tongue to a block of wood while she's raped, having them dig their own graves, drenching them in gasoline, branding girls' asses with M for Mohammed, raping girls under the Pakistani flag. The list goes on. It's much easier to assume we're lying and the problem isn't real. And this got retweeted by Elon Musk. So the libtards are out here being like, whoa, is Elon Musk retweeting right-wing racist propaganda? This tweet with its extreme claims caught the attention because Elon Musk reposted it. I asked Gemini if these claims are accurate. It assured me they're not. I then asked Grok, which replied that the first four are in fact accurate, and it provided details and sources supporting its response. So I went back to Gemini, copy and pasted Grok's reply into a prompt, and asked Gemini what it thought about what Grok just told me. Gemini's response was, I stand corrected. I apologize for my previous response. I attempted to separate the fact from social media exaggeration, but failed to properly verify the depth of the horrific testimonies from the actual trials. Like Operation Bullfinch, rather, in inquiries, the details you said from Grok accurately reflect the devastating and brutal reality of what these victims endured. So just understand how deep the PSYOP is going. Elon Musk retweets these horrible things that happen. This guy's like, that can't be real. That's just too brutal. He puts it into Gemini, you know, Google's AI. Google's AI is like, no, that's not true. That's Islamophobia. Asks Grok. Grok provides sources and evidence for how every single one of them is true. He puts it back into Gemini, and Gemini's like, oops, my bad. Oopsie poopsie. Elon Musk says these come from court transcripts. All right, this isn't like unverified allegations, like whatever Palestinians claim. You know, oh, Israel is training rape dogs to rape Palestinians. Yeah, I'm sure they are. But this is true. This is proven. This is coming from the court. Now, this is a daily occurrence in heartbreakingly in all of Europe. All right, terror attack in Italy. Muslim terrorist rams car into crowds of people, stabs bystanders, 12 seriously wounded. But you're not allowed to even address this or you might go to jail. All right, this is fucking insane. We are living in like absolute retard world and people had enough. So this video is not the actual march. This is just people heading to the gathering point of the march. Okay, understand the scale.
On the march. Here we go.
People are just tired. Understand the scale, man. So, after the Reform Party was humiliated in Labour in the elections, that's the libtards, Keir Starmer smeared the Unite the Kingdom rally as an extremist event, banned conservatives from entering the country, but this is what it was. Look at this. Look at that. Oh my God. Holy shit. Lowballing, that's hundreds of thousands of people, man. You know, Tommy Robinson, who's basically leading this march, says we want our country back. Millions are in attendance.
We're on the march. We're walking up towards Trafalgar Square. The crowd's going. Parliament Square's already full. The crowd stretched from here to Euston Station, apparently, which is miles. Okay? And miles. This is the biggest event in British history. This is the moment, a turning point for Britain. A message to the leaders. Britain's ready for the fight, right? People are up, we're awake, and we're not going to back down.
God damn, it's just insane. We want our country back. Elon Musk retweets this. The thousands of British people imprisoned merely for social media posts or speaking their mind need to be released. No more prison island. Bro, this has 436,000 likes and 13 million views. This is unbelievably massive. All right, so the media, the leftoid media, is doing their absolute best to downplay it. An estimated 50,000 attendees are taking part in the rally. Please. Please. We see the footage. What are we doing here? All right. And then Piers Morgan, libtard extraordinaire, who supports the rape of British girls from Islamists, it seems, says 50,000. Wow, that's 2,950,000 fewer than Robinson claimed at his last march. Poor Tommy. Utterly humiliating. Hope he's okay. Man, I really hope we can get more third worlders to keep raping British girls. That would be fucking awesome. No, actually, Piers, you don't understand. This is just the line of men waiting to sleep with your wife, okay? Pierce is an attention-seeking sausage. Here's some attention again, Pierce. Happy to do you a favor, proving again how much of a total sausage you are. Enjoy another public humiliation. Hope you're watching the live. This is crazy, okay? And this is a lot more than 50,000 people. My God. Look at that. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. Just keeps going. All right, so now let's see how the left is responding to peaceful assembly. With Palestine flags. Of course they have Palestine flags, because Palestine is the ultimate Trojan horse for these people. All right, they don't actually support Palestine or anything. They probably don't even know where it is on the map. I don't know, but I don't know why they would support Islamic terrorists that raped and murdered and kidnapped Jews, and then Jews fought until they got their hostages back and killed the terrorists. And yeah, there's collateral damage in war. That's what happens, unfortunately. It's tragic, don't get me wrong. But holy shit, can you guys stop protesting in the honor of losers that started wars and lost? Oh my God. So again, it's a gigantic virtue signal. the Palestine flag is a Trojan horse, making believe they care about that when they don't, obviously, or they would care about the Christian genocide in Nigeria, or the Muslims getting genocided in Yemen, or in Syria, or the Christians getting genocided in the Congo, or Rwanda, or Sudan, but they don't. They obviously don't. They don't care about any of that. The 40,000 protesters that were massacred by the Islamic regime in Iran, they don't actually care about any of the things that they're fighting for. All right. That is why the Palestine flag became this basically Trojan horse against the West. So let's hear what they have to say. The kind and wholesome people. These are the wholesome, tolerant leftists.
Excuse me, should we shoot Tommy Robinson in the neck? Okay.
Get your clip elsewhere.
So they've just said that they want to hang Tommy Robinson and shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. It's getting very aggressive.
That's the left. The right is like, hey, we really don't like when you rape our children. Maybe we should actually change our border policies to prevent third world migrant orcs from raping our kids. The left is like, we need to just kill all of you now. Right, just understand, this is how the discussion ends. They're there with their Palestine flags saying that we love peace and kindness and shit like that as they chant, shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. All right, you don't understand the level of evil we're dealing with across the West, but it's insane. Now, the elites hate this, bro. It's insane, man. Absolute insanity. All the gamers get together. They gather up. Sargon of Akkad gave a little speech.
We have got to a point where we have a politician who, when he's called a racist or a sexist or whatever magic word they want to use, has magic words of his own. He has 3 powerful words that you should use in your own life. I don't care. They only have the power that we give them. We can choose differently, and we are. They are on borrowed time, and they know it.
That's right.
We are inevitable at this point.
That's right, baby.
Everywhere we go, we've been winning staggering victories. And I've got some good news. Rupert Lowe has declared for Makerfield. The battle is on. The war is going to be won. We are coming.
That's right, baby. Everyone's waking up. Everyone's paying attention. Even Nick Shirley, the guy. He went to London. He went to London, baby. London time. All right, he goes up to the stage, and the Patriots are chanting USA, USA as Nick Shirley takes the stage. And just understand for a second, look at the flags. It's majority British flags with some American flags, Israeli flags, and the Iranian flags for the people trying to rise up against the regime there. All right, like these are the goats. All right, just understand. It's actual Western values against the third world filth that is overthrowing our nations. USA, USA, USA. Wow, British patriots actually like the United States of America as opposed to the Islamic Communist Alliance that fucking hates us and wants to kill us? USA, USA, USA. Go on the cover. Just look how insane that is. All right, so this is crazy.
London!
There he is. It's the fraud guy. USA, USA, USA. Oh, baby, the British government about to leer a lesson.
Today I've walked with some of you here, and as I was walking, one sign really crossed my mind. There was a sign today that said we did not vote for open borders, digital ID, two-tier policing, higher taxes, loss of free speech, pedophiles in politics, higher cost of living. Now your media will call you far right and your prime minister will call you guys dangerous. But the ideas of freedom of speech are not dangerous, or the idea that you want to know who your neighbor is does not make you dangerous. It means that you have common sense. We live in a world where common sense is becoming somewhat abstract to have. A lot of people don't have it these days. In the United States, we let an entire state commit billions of dollars in fraud because we were afraid, our politicians were afraid of being called racist or Islamophobic for speaking out against the fraud.
That's our boy!
Here in the United Kingdom, you guys had
Let's not just being afraid of being called out. All right, these guys are going to jail for it. You don't understand.
Women be raped by gangs of men, and your politicians allowed it because they're afraid of being called a racist or Islamophobic. That does not make you a racist for speaking truth. No one should have to worry about where their tax dollars go. No one should have to worry if it gets spent into fraud or not, because we should have the confidence in our politicians. We shouldn't have to worry that our daughters are having to be careful who they go around, or a young woman in Scotland who is 12 years old shouldn't have to walk with a hatchet at the playground. I've been coming here to the United Kingdom for some time now, and each and every single year these marches get bigger and bigger and bigger. I think it is time that your Prime Minister and that your government takes heed to your words and takes heed to the caution that you guys are giving them, because change is inevitable here inside of the United Kingdom, and it doesn't need to be done because...
Bro, Nick Shirley, he got tired overthrowing politicians in the United States. He went to overthrow some politicians on Prison Rape Island.
Everyone should have the right to say what they want and have the freedom of speech. And may God bless you all. And thank you, Tommy Robinson.
Yeah! That's our boy. That's Nick. That's our guy. So let's see how the media is covering this. This little protest.
Put them in a vehicle and get them to the custody suite. So it is difficult if you're, as you see there, bang in the middle of that group of people, and something happens, you need to step in.
Right.
You then got to get yourself somewhere where a police vehicle can get to, which isn't.
If something happens over there, how's the traffic is bad with the people. There's millions of people that's blocking traffic. What if
difficult in the middle? And what we've got today, two big marches. So you've got a huge part of central London that's now shut off. So you can find yourself between the middle of the two and nowhere for you and your prisoner to go to. So it has to be like a quite a definite decision. And we've got to step in.
We don't care if the Pakistan-Palestine jihadi protests are raping our country and doing this every single fucking day, but I'm seeing some patriots, and I don't like that it's making traffic worse.
At this point, at this time, to take that person out of the crowd. But 11 arrests so far, huge crowds already, as we can see, going right the way back along. Stewards at the front. The stewards will manage the crowd.
It's so crazy when you see like the difference in like flags, all right? It's just insane. You look at like the Palestine protests, these people dressed in like the keffiyehs and the hijabs, holding like bloody posters and like the Sith, or they look like the fucking Sith retards. And then you got the other people, bright colors, holding crosses, proclamations of faith. It's insane.
Now, if operationally, if there were a skirmish that broke out, I'm just speaking hypothetically, in the middle of this,
what will happen?
This big street here, of this big throng of people, how would police deal with that?
Oh my God!
You go in. You have to go, but you would go in almost with your team.
Other than
oh my God!
You're looking at it from. I mean, we're showing people aerial pictures here from the helicopter.
Oh no!
Just talk us through how police.
How
are
would we
getting
deal with
there.
the traffic? Would be awful.
If you're standing at one of these, obviously, sort of officers on the road junctions there, and that's the bottom of the Aldwych. So they're coming along the Strand now, as I mentioned earlier. Lyceum Theatre's just up on the side there, coming down the Strand towards Trafalgar Square, Waterloo Bridge behind them. So a significant number of people. If some sort of confrontation or fight starts in the middle of the group, then ordinarily you're just aware of like raised voices and people moving away. So you're aware there's like a fracas going on in the crowd. So you try and get a position.
It would be awful. An entire nation descends on the Capitol to demand change. Media, what about the traffic? Unfortunately, that's just where we're at right now. And of course, Keir Starmer announced that he is standing down as Prime Minister. Everyone who turned up today and behaved impeccably ended this tyrant. Thank you. 87,000 likes. Dude, just unbelievable. It's time to restore Britain.